Hello and welcome to the another video. So today we will be looking into the deviations in pharma company. So whenever you are working in a pharma company or going to work in a pharma company, this is going to play a very good important role. So let's get started to the main content. So first of all, we need to understand what is meant by deviation. Deviations are measured differences between the observed value and expected or normal value for any process or product condition, or in simple language, a departure from documented standard procedure. So you need to understand, say suppose we have a standard operating procedure like SOP or standard test procedure. So whatever the procedure is mentioned in the document, if we are not doing according to this, then it is called a deviation. Say suppose it has written 5 mg, take 5 mg of sample into 5 ml volumetric flask. So if we have taken 10 mg of our sample into the 5 mg volumetric flask, so here the concentration will change according to this, and it is called as deviation. So deviation can be planned or unplanned, that we'll see in the coming slides. Deviation is an unexpected event that occurs during the ongoing operation, activity, documentation, entries at any stage of the receipt, storage and manufacturing, analysis and distribution of drug products, intermediates, raw materials, packaging material. So you need to understand that deviation can occur at any stage during receipt or storage or manufacturing or distribution, and it can be small deviation, it can be big deviation, that depends upon the incident. Deviations are to be reported as and when they occur and to be investigated for impact assessment. So we cannot hide the deviation. Suppose we have deviations means the mistakes in simple language. So if we are doing the deviation, so we cannot hide the deviations. We need to report as and when they are occurred at that moment only to our supervisors. So basically now question comes, why deviations occurs, right? So if we are going to do a proper work in proper day, but still deviations will occur in the pharma company, so we need to understand what are the reasons. Performing an activity without proper training, right? So we have not got a proper training, so the new persons or new scientists whichever comes in the industry, they are not properly trained. Reprocessing or rework, so if we are doing another again any rework, then also it is a deviation. So failure to follow written SOPs or written procedures, so knowingly or unknowingly we are not following the written procedures. Unapproved changes, we have not taken the approval from the QA team that we are going to do these changes in our procedure, so this also leads to a deviation. Contamination in the procedure working, suppose we are doing any assay test in our lab, and this is just an example, and we are not observing the volumetric flask whichever we are weighing, so it has any contaminants or it has already present some residues, so it will lead to an improper peak shape or some extraneous peak shape, so it will lead to a deviation. Types of deviation, so it will be deviation will be of two types, as I already mentioned, planned deviation and unplanned deviation. So we will see this in detail. So what do you mean by planned deviation? First we'll see, as the name indicates, we have already planned in advance for the deviation. So we'll see, a planned deviation is a suggested change to any approved procedure, document or specification, right? So we have already taken the approval and we have already decided that we are going to do, suppose here is a B, we are already going to do a BC test, then we have already taken the approval and we have already decided in any procedure, document or specification. It is covered for a specific period of time or number of batches, right? It is not, so we have taken any changes approval, so it is not considered for whole the procedure. Whenever we want to do, it is decided to be changed for a specific period of time or a specific number of batches, like one or two batches, not for the whole batches or whole like a whole month or a whole year we are going to do that changes. All changes should be evaluated for product impact significance, right? The need for requalification or revalidation, why we need to do changes, this needs to be initially mitigated. Changes ultimately approved or rejected by QA, this is upon the QA that whether they can approve or they can reject, then we can take the planned deviation and then we can move forward for our work. Examples of planned deviations like calibration or validation is not carried out of any instrument or equipment as per schedule due to delay for various reasons, like we have not done the calibration or validation, this is approved in the pharmaceutical industry. Suppose vendor is not present, or the scientist who are doing calibration is not present, or some of the due to the lockdown, or due to the power shutdown, or due to the some and unavailability of the standards, reference standards. So we can take a deviation of like 1 week or 10 days that we will do in the coming days. So accordingly the calibration date will also increase, but we can do this thing. Product release without complete microbial results. So under micro results, like this we can do the microbial results are not properly performed or not completely performed, but we have released taking consideration into our previous results, and we have written a note that the microbial results are not performed, but still we can release that. Change in batch size of the product. Suppose initially we have decided that okay, we will do a 1 kg of our batch size, but again we have changed it to 2 kg, depends upon the requirement, or 3 kg. So the specification is not changed, but only the batch size is changed. This is acceptable. Unplanned deviation. This is going to be a very risk and very big issue for the pharmaceutical company. So we'll see an accidental or unanticipated non-conformance or deviation observed or noticed during or after the execution of an activity, right? So we have not anticipated, or it is occurred accidental changes in our procedure. So this is called as unplanned. We will see examples also. It can be occurred at any stage of manufacturing as the planned deviation, packaging, testing, holding, or storage of the drug product due to the system. So this can occur at any stage, but unplanned deviation is a unacceptable or unaccidental or unanticipated. Examples of unplanned deviations: failure of parameter at production lab temperature, right? Suppose we have the production lab temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, where regular temperature production is going on. So there suddenly we have seen it went to 29 degrees centigrade or 35 degrees centigrade, which is out of our range. Then it is unacceptable, because whatever the production we have done, whatever the capsules we have produced will fall out of our range. So it is unacceptable at all. Sudden failure of equipment. We are doing a calibration or validation in a validation control lab, validation central lab, and the equipment is failed down. Then we have to re-perform this whole validation, and we have to take the unplanned deviation. Failure in validation batch. Any API or drug product, any validation batch, it is mentioned that any impurity should be not more than 0.1%, and it is coming 0.2%. So it is a serious matter, and it is an unplanned deviation because we have not anticipated this change. Failure of utility, like heating, ventilation, air condition. So failure of our utility chambers. So documentation error, wrong weight or backdate entry. If we are taken wrong weight knowingly, in place of 5 mg we have taken 10 mg, or we have taken 2.5 mg, this is deviation. Backdate entry. Suppose today is 1st February, we have done the entry of 30 January or 31 January in our lab notebook, then it is a very serious issue, and it is going to be an unplanned deviation. So this is all about my video. We will make another part 2 of the video of the deviations. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks a lot.